Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What's up? What's crack-a-lackin'? I just felt like I should say crack-a-lackin' because, like I said, I'm trying to come up with new, interesting, fun ways to introduce people to my podcast. But there are only so many things you can say and do. And since I still to this day, because I'm a loser, because I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you? Well, I'm not going to say that, but I still do not have my intro and outro. And to those of you who have been listening to my podcast since the very beginning, since it was brand new, since the number one OG episode, you will know that I used to have an intro and an outro. And it was pretty snazzy. It was pretty professional. And then I am currently using a certain account. And then somehow I had another account and that allowed me to put music on. But then it all of a sudden just stopped allowing me to have my intro and outro. And I'm not sure why. So now it's just this. Now you just turn on my episode and I'm like, boom, I just hit you right away. Like you get no warning. I just go right for it. You get no well, I always say foreplay, so I don't want to keep saying that. That's crass. But, it's like, bam, hi, hello, I'm here. Remember on City Slickers, the movie City Slickers with the cow Norm? Hello, hello. So cute. Anyway, hi. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's Monday. I don't know. I am probably not going to put this podcast out today. So I'm not sure what day it's going to be when I put it out or what day it will be when you listen to it. So happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Okay, anyways, I don't sing. So, I do sing in my podcast, in my episodes. I do it very often and I shouldn't because I can't. I shouldn't say I don't sing. I should say I sing, but I don't sing well. I don't sing well at all. I sound like a cat in heat, like Beyonce. I sound like a cat in heat. People are going to be like, don't compare yourself to Beyonce, but I think Beyonce sounds like a cow in heat. So, and I'm comparing myself to that. So, anyway, I also want it noted that there is like an 80-something-year-old lady outside mowing her lawn. Granted, it's like a quarter of an acre or an eighth of an acre, but she's still outside mowing her lawn like a badass motherfucker. I have a neighbor, well, not necessarily neighbors, I'm not sure why I said that, but I know a couple that are 85, and they go out and work on their yard constantly, and I'm talking like hard work on their yard, and one of them still goes to the gym like 3 days a week. Goes to the actual gym, not just works out at home, but actively goes to a gym. I just think that's amazing. I'm not saying that 85 is old, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's also old. It is older, and it's to where I'm jealous if you're 85 and you're out, still mowing your lawn, because sometimes there's times I'm in my 50s and there's times I'm like, ugh. But that's my fault. That's on me. I'm not going to blame society. I'm not going to blame other people for my poor habits. I've gained 20 pounds. Sorry, I gained 20. And that's not a lot, I realize. That's not a lot. But 20 pounds on me, swear to God, I'm not just saying this, looks like about 40 pounds. It really does. Even my really good friends that are honest with me tell me that. 20 pounds on me looks about 35, 40 pounds. And that's not anybody else's problem. That's my fault. I have not been eating as well as I usually do. I'm not as active as I usually am because it's been hotter than Hades. So I admit I'm not doing a lot outside. Usually I go on a million hikes. But I've also been really, really busy with caring for animals. And 2 of the animals I'm caring for can't go on walks right now or do any kind of long walks or anything or play around because they have injuries that prevent them from doing that, and they have to lay down and I can only let them outside to go potty and I have to monitor them. And so I admit, and also I'm eating later at night and then going to bed, which is no good. So it's my fault. I take accountability for my actions. Man, I wish more people would do that, right? I sure wish. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I personally, speaking for myself, wish that more people would take accountability for their actions. And I'm talking all people. I don't care what your political orientation is. I don't care what your race is or your gender is or your sexual preferences are. I'm talking everybody. And it's frustrating when you hear people making excuses, like Alyssa Thomas on the WNBA. Alyssa Thomas on the WNBA decided to just absolutely annihilate, just flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham. She did it on purpose, and then she acted all shocked and awe when she had consequences. And then she proceeded to tell people it was white privilege on behalf of the Fever and behalf of the referees. It's white privilege, I tell ya. It's white privilege when I actively go out of my way to foul somebody. I chose to do it, but it's white privilege that got me kicked out of the game. It's white privilege that got me fined, not my actions. No, my actions had nothing whatsoever to do with anything. My behavior had nothing to do with it. Don't you just love people like that? People that like to get on social media or tell you, your friends or family, they like to play the victim all the time. I've done it. I admit when I do things. Raise your hand if you have made excuses for yourself. I'm raising mine. We've all done it. Again, I'm not on my high horse. I'm not on a soapbox. I'm not virtue signaling. I'm telling you, I've done it. And it's frustrating for everybody else, I'm sure, when I do it. Just like it's incredibly frustrating to me when other people like to make excuses for their crappy behavior or their crappy addictions and their crappy attitudes. I'm sorry if you feel that white people have something to do with you not succeeding. Right now, I feel like there are certain white people who have everything to do with me being angry and me being frustrated. But technically, it's up to me how I feel. Technically, I choose how to feel. And I'm choosing to allow certain people, certain groups of people to affect me. That's my choice. And I'm not saying that it's not really, really, really difficult to ignore people that you disagree with and that you don't like that are on TV all the time, especially if they're constantly on TV running their mouths like Don Lemon, Rachel Middow, these extreme people, when they are forever running their mouth and they're saying things pretty much on a daily basis that you disagree with, it does get hard to constantly turn the other cheek. So you have to not watch them. You have to actively go out of your way to look up cute dog videos, to look up, videos about honeybees. That's what I've been doing. Because, like I said, I have to time myself out sometimes from people and things that drag me down. I don't want to be a miserable human. But it seems like there's a lot of people that do, that kind of go out of their way to seek misery and seek the negative. I did some videos on social media, and they were not racist, but people decided to give a definition, their definition of racist, and then they decided to make a bunch of assumptions, and then they based their entire argument on assumptions and things that they made up and twisted my words and then made an argument about it and then thought they had a gotcha moment. And that always cracks me up because I'm like, you don't get to listen to my video and then completely interpret it in a totally opposite direction, make it completely at the other extreme of what I said, and then base an argument and make comments on something that I did not say. Why would a person do that? It completely invalidates your argument. It makes your argument null and void because you based it on something I never said. You just made assumptions. You made snap judgments about me, and then again decided to make comments based on those snap judgments. Again, I've done it. I'm ashamed to admit that I've done it, but I have, and I'm going to admit it because I'm an adult, because I do have pride. And since I have pride, I'm not going to try to claim that I'm perfect. Because like I say in every single episode, no human is perfect. I'm trying to genuinely say that in all of my episodes, no human is perfect. And so that includes me. But I can accept that, and I'm willing to admit it. And again, I kind of wish more people would do so. I wish more people would have less of a problem saying, hey, I'm an idiot human, and I do idiotic things, and I say idiotic things, and I'm not perfect. Because we all, every one of us, have done and said things that we're not proud of, and that were maybe stupid or maybe judgmental. And you're lying to yourself if you claim that you don't. Maybe you rarely do. Maybe you only have once or twice, and that is amazing. I'm not saying that I do it every day. I'm not saying I do it all the time, and I certainly don't try to do those things, that's for sure. But I am not a racist. I am not a Nazi. I am not a homophobe. I'm not sure why people like to say this. I lived with a woman for 7 years. And when I say lived with a woman, she was not my roommate, she was my girlfriend. And so it cracks me up when people make assumptions, and now 99% of you are going to go, what? And they're going to rewind what I just said. And they're going to go, I did not hear that. I didn't just hear that. But that's a little tidbit about me. So it's just people are full of surprises, and we don't know people, and we like to pretend that we know people. But even people that have reality TV shows a lot of times are hiding things. Cameras have to be turned off at some point, right? Doors have to be closed at some point. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. There are families that have proven to look like LL Bean catalog poster children and families that look like they belong on a Christmas card for like some Hallmark movie. But we have found out that looks can be deceiving. And what goes on behind closed doors can be something entirely different. And maybe those people are having a really hard time. And maybe there's a lot of really dark things and negative things going on that we're unaware of. So we don't know. Even celebrities that are on talk shows all the time maybe don't talk about stuff that is going on, in their lives, talk about everything. People do have secrets. It doesn't seem like it nowadays with social media and so many reality TV shows, but even reality TV shows like the Kardashians are just edited garbage that are, again, kind of pieced together, edited things that people want you to see. I do believe that there are certain reality TV shows that are maybe far more realistic and far more, real, but we don't know what's going on. So you can think that you know me because I have this podcast, but I don't talk about every single thing on this podcast. I don't talk about every single thing, every aspect of my life. It's what I said I was going to do, but I don't always. Sometimes I talk about things in a roundabout way, but it's just frustrating. I wish that accountability, again, I'm talking accountability for Republicans, for conservatives, for liberals, for Democrats, for Black people, white people, Native American, Asian, for transgender, bisexual, gay, for straight, for men, women, whatever it is. I'm saying this for Catholics, atheists, agnostics, Lutherans, whatever it is for humans. Humans need to take accountability, and I wish humans would, and I wish there'd be consequences. Like the WNBA needs to have consequences for the fact that they did not word their contracts or whatever in a way in which Enas Kanter, he now can put his name in to be, drafted by the WNBA. And I think that's genius because it's going to force the WNBA to either define what a woman is, which they should, which means they're probably going to go back on everything they've said because, according to them, you can't define women, and they don't want to do that because they don't want to piss off people. Or it's going to make them allow him in because their wordage says they can, and they're the ones that have said that a man that identifies as a woman is a woman. No questions asked. You're not allowed to question. You cannot question. If you question a man that identifies and claims to be a woman, well, you are a transphobic piece of garbage and you just are a horrible, hideous person, according to certain groups of people. That's according to certain groups of people will call you terrible, horrible names if you don't believe that every single man, every man that exists on planet Earth that claims and identifies as a woman isn't a woman. If you question that in any way, you're a bad person. That's according to large groups of people. So now those same groups of people are going to question if Enas is a woman. In fact, he didn't call himself a woman, by the way. He never said he was a woman. He just said if all it takes is to identify as a woman, okay, then I do. He's just saying, okay, I guess I do. He's not making a big production about it. I think Dennis Rodman should 100% put his name into the WNBA to be drafted because he's been wearing dresses for like 35 years. He has been dressing like a woman since before it was trendy and cool. What are you going to tell Dennis Rodman? You're going to tell Dennis Rodman he can't join the WNBA when he actually has dressed like a woman forever? He doesn't identify as a woman, but if he says he identifies as a woman, are you going to argue with a man who's been wearing a bridal gown around town, which he did? You're just ticked. There's groups of people that are ticked when their own words and their own beliefs now apply to other people. Because they don't want equality. That is not what these people want. They don't want equality at all. They want special rules and special privileges while accusing everybody else of having white privilege. It's ridiculous. You don't get to make all of these rules and force everybody else to deal with it. And then when someone puts your own rules and your own identities back at you, you don't get to now throw a temper tantrum. These are what your guidelines, these are the guidelines that you set. This is the bed you made. You opened this door. So don't get all pissed off because people aren't going to walk through the door, because they're not going to sleep in the bed that you made. You did this. You chose this. You wanted this. You asked for it, and you got incredibly mad when other people didn't want it. You're just ticked because someone decided to take you up on it and you know what the consequences are. You don't want the accountability. See how I tied all that in? Yeah. There are days I digress. There are days that people are like, okay, Courtney, bring it back. You are like, squirrel. And I digress. And most of the time, you guys have to admit, most of the time, I always change my percentage. But I'd say a good 90% of the time, I do bring it back around. It may take a little bit to get there, but I do bring it back around. But I don't even think I digressed this time. I didn't even digress. I mean, that's a big deal for me. But I see how I tied it all back in. It's accountability. You don't get to be upset if people use your own words and your own guidelines and your rules and because it's not. You think it's all about you. And then when someone else wants the same thing, you're like, no, you don't get what I get. Well, that's not equality. Now you're asking for special stuff. And when you ask people, well, what rights have you had taken away? They can't think of a single thing. Instead, they just talk about how ugly you are and they put you down and they attack you because they don't have the verbiage or the intelligence or the security or the education to back up what they say. They're either not confident in themselves, they're not confident in their education. That's what it is. Or they're jealous, whatever it is, but it's nothing good. And then you're taking that out on others. And I don't know why people do that. Again, I've done it. I know that when I've done it, it's because I'm being a bitch, or I'm being insecure, or I'm being jealous, or I'm not educated. Again, I don't make excuses for myself. You're not going to hear excuses. Sometimes you're going to hear reasons on why I say and do the things I do, why I behave the way I do, but I don't make excuses, and those are different. Reasons and excuses are different. I will give you reasons why I say or do something, but I'll admit if they are still bad, or if they're still not okay, or if I was still wrong. I may just give you a little background, Anyway, this is just a quick little podcast. I keep saying podcast. My goodness, it's because I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired, but I'm happy. Again, I get to have a job where I am not in a cubicle, which I've talked about this before. I actually don't mind cubicles. Cubicles say, leave me alone. Cubicles say, do your own work, mind your business, and I'll mind mine. And cubicles say, just get to work, put your head down and work, and then leave. So I do like that. But I also like that I can have a different change of pace all the time. I'm going to end this on a good note, on a happy note, and that is that I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I live in America, and I love this country so much. And I do feel that this country is one of the greatest countries in the entire world. That's not me putting down other countries. That's not me saying anything about other countries. That's saying that I personally absolutely love America. Now, I haven't been to many countries. I've been to 7. And I liked all of them. I had some that I like more than others. But I liked them, and I liked the people. By the way, shout out to Singapore and Japan. Whoop, whoop, Japan. Japan and Singapore, because you guys are next to America, the 2 countries that have been downloading my podcast the most. And shout out to every single country out there, every country, no matter where you're from, no matter what your background is. Thank you genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I mean it wholeheartedly. I appreciate everybody that listens to this podcast, because there's 4 billion podcasts right now. And like I said, I talk into my cell phone. I talk into my iPhone. It's not good quality. I don't edit. You can hear a lot of things like, by the way, again, creaking boards. You might be hearing creaking boards in the background. It's not me having gas. I'm definitely not going to record that. I'll probably edit that out. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I would, because I'm pretty sure people would be like, all right, I can handle a lot, but I'm not going to handle you like passing gas. And that's tacky. So I will edit out some things, but you're going to hear, if airplanes are going by or whatever, I'm going to edit out that. But otherwise, I talk into my phone. You hear everything. So you certainly can listen to better quality podcasts, the ones that have an intro and an outro. And I just babble. I do. I know I do. I ramble. It's called Ramblings of an Insomniac. I say it in the title. You know what you're getting into, right? So thank you. Knowing all of those things, thank you to every single person that has been listening. You guys are amazing. I wish you well. I wish you a fantastic week. Remember to control the things you can and let go of the rest. Remember to breathe in through your nose slowly and breathe out through your mouth. Thank you. Until next time.